it is to run for his first time. He had a lot of comments to say about things that he was not pleased about. In many ways, more than one. That was no, definitely not airworthy, and it's still the same reason why I'm not able to play a part of what Dati has said today, because Ahmed Dati did make some strong comments in an interview where he described what the state of the nation should look like if the results, or should I say, the court processes, it feels not duly done or processed properly when the hearing starts. But there's also talks about, for example, the president of the NBA has been talking about, why can't we have the court processes for the election when it's time to look through some of the stories and some of the moments there? Why can't it be done live on TV? Let's listen to the arguments being made. Let's peradventure know that there are lawyers who have viewpoints that make a difference in terms of what the result should look like. If you got a good lawyer, you could possibly argue for why your case is an eligible case for victory, right? You have good evidences to prove that you know what you're saying, and you surely are on point to bring about the kind of results that are truly worthy. Now, think about various candidates who will be presenting their evidence, and let's say they get a lawyer that is at par with those evidence, who knows how to argue it off, who knows case studies, who knows how the Supreme Court patterns and judgments that have existed before now, which was, by the way, one excellent skill. Somebody like, I'm not Gani Adams now, I'm trying to remember the man who trained Festus Keyam. I'm trying to remember his name. Oh dear Lord, he's late now. Gani Fawemi, yes, that's the name I'm looking for. How he had provided excellent arguments. The Supreme Court, in the past, you have ruled on a similar case, and this was your motion, and this was what you relied on when you were making those rulings. At the time you made those rulings. And in many cases, Supreme Court tries not to sway too far from the consistency of what the court is, what they've been all about. And providing evidence and arguing out evidence and providing good reason and reasonable arguments on many things sometimes is what makes cases to stand or to lose, or for people to lose cases. But I'm really considerate. What should be said now? I mean, at the end of the day, it's not about usurping or trying to get rid of another government or an existing government and saying things about them. It's also what you say to the people who are listening to you, who have their attention based on what you say and when you say it. It's right for people, it's wrong for people. Do you want to stir up their passion against their country because of interest, of what you think? And I like the way Goodluck Jonathan has often said it, even when he was, when he lost out on the elections at the time. He talked about the fact that no Nigerian's blood, I think something like this, is worthy. I mean, no Nigerian should die for his own political interest. Something of such nature, or thereabout, is how he summarized his viewpoint. Why are politicians saying things that could set the country on edge, either for or against the post-election crisis? Are there other ways in which they could convey their pleasure or displeasure about the election results that one would say, okay, you have a viewpoint. Maybe INEC they didn't do well, or maybe they did this. Somebody somewhere did not take up his responsibility properly. Are there other ways to say this? Because it goes a long way at the end of the day to help people who are supporters to calm down, or be calming down, if I would say, or to challenge the entire governance structure, in which, by the way, when that is done, it's positioning yourself to become the enemy of the state. And obviously, things turn out really different around that. Okay, we're going to take that conversation on. What can be said? What should not be said? As a Nigerian, what should be said in order for people to say, yes, he has a point, and he has made his points in the most respectful way. Oh, no, he doesn't have a point. Well, he has good reason to make this point. Oh, no, he has good ideas about what has happened. And I think I agree with him, but the way he has gone about it is wrong. I mean, there are many ways to think about this. And by the way, silence is also a tactic. Some say when you're silent, you have a strategy that's a master stroke, the one that can change the dynamics of everything. Think about the story of the Trojan horse. I don't know if you've ever heard of the story of the Trojan horse. No, I'm not talking about the computer virus now. Trojan horse, yeah? The story talks about Odyssey, the Greeks, right? They were trying to get into a certain country, they were at war with another country. I would just say country at the time. And they were trying to get into that city, and the city was so fortified, walls everywhere. They battled and battled and battled for many months. They couldn't get in. No, nothing was working. Going over the wall, no, those guys were ready to defend their country, or to defend their land in every way. So, the Greeks developed what you call a Trojan horse. Now, the horse was a giant horse. It looked like a statue, and they snuck in soldiers into this horse, into this into this metallic horse, if I would say. And then they shipped off some of their soldiers, like they were leaving the shore and pretending as if, we've given up, we can't get into the city. No, we can't get into the city. And somebody out there says, wait, the Greeks are leaving. They're really leaving now. Wait, the Greeks are leaving. We have won. We have won. We have won. Oh, we have won. We have good reason to say we have won. They are now afraid. They can't get into a city. I says, by the way, as they ran away, as they left, they also left one giant horse. Hey, so with all the effort they made at making this thing, they left it and they have gone. They have gone. And somebody brings up another idea. This giant horse that they have left, let's drag it into the city. Let's pull it into the city. This will be something that we would always use to symbolize the fact that we won against the Greeks. So they pull this horse into the city and typically lock the city gates. And they start to celebrate in every sense of it. Wine, shouting, cheering, bragging, all kinds of animations to show that they've won the war against the Greeks. But there was one problem. Nobody decided to check whether the horse had anything inside. Why is this horse heavy? Why is this horse so heavy at all? I mean, why is it so heavy? And late into the night, the Greeks that were in the horse snuck out of the horse. And rather than attacking from the inside, the soldiers of their opponent now, they decided to unlock the gates of the city. And the Greeks outside of the city started to come in and attack the city from the outside. And the ones inside attacked the drunk soldiers of the enemies also from the inside. And what would happen next is that they got rid of their opponents that had held them for months, if not years. And this was, by the way, this story I'm talking about happened this should be, what year we were in? 2023. So this should be about 10 BC. Okay, this should be around that time, 10 BC. It should be about 900 years ago. The story I'm talking about 900 years ago. Yeah, around that time. So you would find the story of the Trojan horse take over. And that masterpiece, that tactical method of fighting war became described as the Trojan horse down the line. But today it's described in computer terms and say when you collect something in a flash drive that you do not know that sneaks into your computer and it keeps quiet for a long time and then eventually starts off the battle on your computer to get rid of it. But it's now called much of the Trojan horse, as, described as a virus or as a worm and the likes of that in computer terms. But I ask you, what shouldn't politicians be saying? I'm not talking about saying it to themselves and yabbing on against each other. I'm talking about when they yab and talk in a way the Nigerians move, that creates action, that creates motives, that creates activities, that makes the guys who are touts with guns and the likes of that become active against Nigerians. In Port Harcourt, in Rivers, we see supporters fighting off each other, possibly killing each other, just to make a point on behalf of who? A politician. What's acceptable? What is not acceptable? Let's find out next.
This is Morning Crossfire.
All right, let's take on your calls. I've explained much of what kind of Trojan horse, and sometimes I'll try and do a little political education every day, just to say something about something that exists out there that may interest you. Okay, let's take on your calls. Let's take on your calls on 07009510000. Okay, and then 08095974869. And on WhatsApp, it's 08099930137. Okay, let's take some calls now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Dr. Femi.
Yes, how are you today?
Fine. This is Ododo calling from Lokogoma.
Ododo, the man with the truth.
Yes. Yes, sir. I got the story of the Trojan horse was superb, and it's a great lesson for every one of us. Then, back to the discussion we are having. Sir, I don't know, maybe it's only me. I listened to that dirty statement quite all right. You know, words by words. There are even some that were subtitled. Everything he said there have never been anything that is wrong. He said something like, if this president elect is being crowned on that day, that means it's unconstitutional. Of course, when we did that election, there are so many places that election didn't take place. There are so many threats. So it's just like somebody make illustration yesterday to SWAT. You can't have a train coming from airport to maybe town, and it got to a point where you have some of the rails are being removed. You've not ended that journey, and then you decide to call everybody that, oh, we had a safe trip. No.
Yeah.
And that is what he's saying.
Good. By the way, that illustration was to me. But let me go back to what you said about where you talked about is not constitutional. Do you know that to swear anybody in, you need a constitution? Is the fact that you're swearing in, in fact, the statement of your swearing is that I hereby swear to uphold the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's your opening statement. So when you do say it's unconstitutional, you're saying the person is swearing to anything but the Constitution. So that in itself is also wrong.
Yes, but he said it on one condition. He said if this court case has not been finalized and the court has declared the election process as perfect, I think if he's being crowned, it's unconstitutional. That is that aside. Then for the fact that they are saying Obi makes some all these things, I don't think.
So let me ask you this. I don't intend to argue with you on this, but let me bring a case study to your attention. In Oshu State, the current governor there is Adeleke, right? Or is dropped off the call. But the current governor there is Adeleke, and Adeleke is still they've done tribunal, they've done appeal court. They're still running as the governor. He's still running the affairs of the state. But then, would you say him running the affairs of the state is unconstitutional? In fact, most times, it's what leads to by-election. Somebody has been sworn in, but there's a court process to be done. You cannot have a vacuum in government. No matter what we do and think about, oh, is this person that should stay or not stay? Come May 29, President Muhammadu Buhari cannot be there for more than a day. He can't even be there past May 29. Somebody must lead the government. Even if the person who is leading the government, is sworn in, and after he's sworn in on May 29 and May 30, the court now say, no, you are not the one that's supposed to be there. But there cannot be vacuum in government. And so tactically, what you say is unconstitutional, and his opening statement is, I swear to uphold the Constitution. That brings about another drama. Stay with me. I'll be back. We'll talk more.
It's okay. That is okay. It's okay.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Audio Jungle.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
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 Mr. President-elect Tinubu, the man has been silent since after the election. And I believe the last statement towards the elections was when he said he's contesting the process of the election, and that's all. People have been employing all manner of tactics, all in the name of obedience, causing problems everywhere, and it's Peter Obi that is causing it. Let us all be fair in our reportage and in all we say. I'm not inobedient. If we are being fair with ourselves, politics aside, that man has not granted any media interview or issued any statement towards the election since it has been declared, since it was being declared. The only thing that is in the media is the purported order that made a call, that he made a call to Bishop Oyedepo before the election. Nobody in the authorities has come to authenticate the originality of the audio. Even the NCC issued a statement denying tracking its origin. My question now is, why is he always in the news about the things that he didn't do? Why can't we all just wait till after the petition is decided upon by the Supreme Court instead of all these ways in which we've taken this on? Obina from Abuja had that said. Akamata says, so the Minister of Information is now, you say you wonder when this should never end, and then you say INEC is saddled with conducting election and has not given any reason why it couldn't upload the results thus far. Ulysses says, Nigeria is the only country we have. You cannot burn down your country just because of elections. From the threats are constitutionally outlined. If any government fabricates its own threat, it has no place in law. Well, it's outlined, yes, but go and read a little bit of. I'm trying to remember now. What's the name of our law now? Is it the penal code or which one now? There's one of the law that entails that covers much of about our security. You would realize that there's so much more that can be interpreted as. And sometimes when people do speak and they don't speak to point on it, it causes wahala in its own right. Okay. Good morning from the Festus from Durumi here. About the statement that was made by Dati Ahmed, I think for better clarity, it would be nice for you to play it so as to let's make reference and inference about the statement so as to match it with accusations being labeled on the vice presidential candidate on the Labour Party just for clarity's sake. I think it would be nice for you to play the interview. I think it was aired by Arise News and Channels TV as well. Yes, it was done, but I will tell you this. I have listened to the interview, and I can tell you that if I play that interview, it's likely that I would not be providing room for interpretation. I'll providing room for the very idea that is being accused of. There are things it might have gone too far in saying. And by the way, Channels is having to respond to issues from that very interview as well. I saw the interview and I did not play because of some of the things they spotted as being a little bit too, the words being too tensed for our national life as that has been put. That's the reason why I didn't play that interview. Okay. Good morning from the Well Done Job. Honestly, I'm tired of hearing Peter Obi wins the election every day. Please, can somebody win the election in only one region of the country? It will be very abnormal. Does he win? Did they win in Kano, Katsina, Rivers, Borno? Where it matters the most? I beg they should Pakwala go to court. Elder Sam from Suleja had a written in. Let's take more calls this very morning. Are you calling in? If you are, my numbers remain the same. Good morning to you and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Best journalist that I'm always proud of. Femi, Uncle Femi, Sobasanjo from Amali.
All right, welcome, sir.
Thank you. I'm the previous journalism. If you look out the previous leaders, especially the information minister, during 2015 when they came up on board, before they came up on board, a lot of issues has been stated from his mouth. See, our leader has been taking us for granted. They got that opportunity because we are the masses with our head that is not together. If our heads have been together, a lot of issue has been around going out before these elections. Some utter bad statements when they are campaigning for their leaders. Even the media men that duly comes on television to campaign. In fact, some of them, their word needs to be restricted. Their word needs to be called to order. And secondly, the NBA said the judgment should be on live TV. I am suggesting, please, Nigerian Bar Association, please, we need that. As everybody will now look up the hearing from the judge or the judges. If this one is mistake, we will now notice that this one has the mistake. Like a throwback to a Peter Pan. Then, when things they were in order, Nigeria was having a good leadership. They give this leadership so that everybody, if you are listening to radio, you heard them. If you are on TV, you heard them. Let's do it like that. Let the Supreme Court or the judges of the Supreme Court open up to Nigerians that we want to live television judgment.
Let's leave it at that with you. Thank you for your time and your viewpoint. Okay, let me take on another call this very morning. I'm listening to you as you bring on your viewpoints of various issues this very morning. Okay, here is another call at this time. Your viewpoints will be great to hear you. Okay, here we go. Good morning to you. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning. World class Dr. Femi D. Amele. I remember my humble self, Abubakar Ali, a.k.a. Tinubu Pikin, calling from PW Kubwa this morning.
All right. Welcome.
Mr. Femi D.
Yes, sir.
I want to know which section of the Nigerian Constitution Mr. Dr. Baba Ahmed made that quote from. Because I'm yet to hear any lawyer, any senior advocate of Nigeria made the same pronouncement as Dr. have done. Or perhaps is Dr. quoting from his own personal constitution? And for those who trying to exonerate his boss, well, it is a joint ticket. Any blunder made by one of them, the other one must carry it. We are here in this country, in Bayelsa State. An individual that won a governorship race was rehearsing for the inauguration the following day. He received a call that Supreme Court has overturned his judgment, his mandate because of his deputy forgery case. Didn't that happen?
Yeah, that they played you.
They don't say, I'm not, no, it's not me, no, they should sack the deputy. Did it happen like that? It is a joint ticket. Anything that happened to the neck happened to the head. The head must bear it. And anything that the head is bearing, the neck must feel it. We should stop sugar. If it is an individual, a private individual like I, or other Nigerians that went to that China studio and made that pronouncement that day, believe you me, they'll be arrested that night. But they don't want to create tension in the land. They don't want to add to the additional tension in the land. Decide to let it go. But here we are saying it's right. May 29 is sacrosanct. Asuwaju, by the special grace of God Almighty, is going to be inaugurated.
All right.
And the death of Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thanks for your viewpoint on that. Let's take on a few more calls because we've got to take on an appearance a few minutes from now as well. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show. Yes, good morning. Are you there? Oh, no, I'm not too sure I've been able to take that call on. Okay, let's take on another call. Good morning to you. How are you today?
Good morning, the great Femi B.
Yes.
Of our time.
Good morning.
My name is Elvis.
Elvis.
I'm calling.
Okay.
Yes, I'm calling from Maitama.
All right, Elvis. Just go on. Let's take your call.
All right, Femi D. Thank you for this great opportunity. Femi D, my concern with regards to this issue of 25% in two-thirds, which I believe was the base of the vice presidential candidate of Labour Party's argument. Femi D, two-thirds, 25% of two-thirds of states in Nigeria is 24 states, right?
Yeah.
Excludes FCT. And in a situation whereby you include FCT, is there any state in Nigeria that is fractioned? The result you will get will be 24 point something. That is infraction. So this is a good test for the judiciary.
Yeah. So there are many other things as well to test.
For the judiciary to make a better.
So yes, when this is interesting, and I agree with you, it's going to be a very good test. The reason why I say it's a good test, you remember every other time we've had elections running in Nigeria, we've had pretty much two people running to the contest, the final line. But in this case, we have up to three people. And it makes the calculation around who won. I mean, how do you declare a winner, or how the winner do the match a little bit different from the regular I won against him only. So it's a good case for the judiciary to look through on. Yes, go on. Are you still there? Oh, there. Okay. All right. Let's take on another call. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Dr. Family. Good morning.
Good morning. Sounds like Dale.
Yeah, this is Dale. My name is Dale.
Dale, the singer, the singist.
Dr. Femi, I have a few questions for you this morning. Probably not necessarily you, but those that are in authority, I hope they are listening at the moment. Okay, fine. An audio call was leaked of Peter Obi, calling Bishop Oyedepo, right? And they are using that against him at the moment. When MC Oluomo came out publicly to make statements inciting violence, tribal violence against the Igbos, nobody's saying anything about that.
No, there was a comment about that, and I talked about it this morning. I think it appeared in Daily Trust, where the first PRO said, if anybody has evidence, bring the evidence, let's treat it up from there. I think that's the latest.
They are glaring, Dr. Femi D. They are glaring.
But somebody has to bring a petition. No, I agree with you that there are a lot of things that were said. But the question is, who is bringing the evidence? And that's where the drama starts. Who is bringing the evidence?
Petitions have been signed against MC Oluomo. That is right, Dr. Femi D.
Okay.
My other question is this. No, see, I've been opportuned, or rather, it's an unfortunate scenario where a colleague in-law was kidnapped. And these guys make calls. So they can't also track those calls. Those who tracked the Peter Obi and David Oyedepo, they can't track those calls. These guys are playing with us. They are playing with us. And it's quite unfortunate that I'm just being careful of what I'm saying on air. I don't want to put anybody in trouble. But the truth is, they're actually playing with this generation. You won an election, and it's causing this old trouble everywhere, all over the world. That is to tell you that something is fishy somewhere. Something is fishy. These guys are actually playing with us, and it's only God that will deliver this country. Honestly speaking, if you can trace a call between Peter Obi and Oyedepo, you can't trace call of bandits, you can't trace call of kidnappers, you can't trace call of those who are, engineering violence, electoral violence against this nation. Dr. Femi did it as well. God bless you for you got Nigeria Info. God bless you guys. Those are my questions this morning. Thank you.
Interesting questions you do put forward. Del there talking. Okay, well, Anas Magbo says, morning, Femi. Well done, work, brother. Moshood Karim Olawale says, Nigerian judiciary has not matured to stream judgment live. We, the followers, need to understand the process first in order not to create a situation that can lead to attackers on judges. Yes, you have good reason for that. You have good reason to say that. Maybe not the full judgment, but at least let's watch what is going on. Me, I like to listen to lawyers. I've been to court a few times. I like to listen to the position of their arguments, because sometimes the cases are actually won or lost based on who is even doing the argument on behalf of who at the end of the day. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Femi D.
Yes, how are you today?
I'm very fine.
Good, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Femi D, the issue, I'm switching now.
Okay, sorry. Yes, I was hoping you say that. Okay, Uchenna, yes, go on.
Yeah, I listened to Datia Ahmed Baba's interview very well. And the man, the way he was talking, he wasn't afraid of anything. He said that Tinubu, they declared the winner of the election. That's his own argument. The only place I'm faulting him that he's going before the court. You understand?
That's preempting the court. Yes, that's preempting. It's called preempting the court.
Yeah. His argument is that since Tinubu did not make the 25% requirement according to the law, it's very unlawful for the President Muhammad Buhari to go ahead to hand over to him that he did not make the constitutional requirements. So it will be unconstitutional for him to be given power officially. So that's his argument. But to correct all these things, Nigeria should National Assembly should bring up a law that will help all these judicial tribunal cases about president. Let them speed it up so that everything will end before that swearing in. To me, it's still unlawful for a case that is still in court. You understand? And you are already giving somebody president. Because if you and I is dragging a house now, you understand? Nobody owns that house until court makes a judgment.
So that's the thing.
Steps into that land. Okay, let's say it's a land now. This house is in dispute now. Nobody steps into that land until there is a pronouncement.
Okay, so let me argue a little bit differently from you. Let me argue a little bit differently with you on that. Now, the way the Nigerian Constitution and the way the government has extensively worked, at the end of an election, INEC gets to declare to go two ways. The election was conclusive, and this is the result. You're familiar with that, right? Or they declare that it is inconclusive.
Inconclusive.
Yeah,
okay.
And then provide reasons for us to do what later would sometimes call a rerun, right? Now,
yes, sir.
INEC has the powers backed by the Constitution to declare conclusive or inconclusive, right? Now,
yes,
the point where they decide to say inconclusive, everybody goes back to page 1 and starts from the beginning. But when they declare something being conclusive, In fact, if INEC doesn't declare, you cannot even go to court. That's an interesting part. There's nothing you're basing your argument or your case on in court if INEC doesn't even declare some measure of result to say there was result, there's no result. It's when INEC declares, that's when you now have material to say, okay, no, I don't agree. We'll go to court, right? Now, what is dramatic about this is INEC has declared a result, right? Now you've gone to court, right, to argue. Now, some of the basis of INEC's declaration and the powers that extend around INEC is once they declare the person somebody as, this is the winner of a result, and they've given the certificate of return. You cannot even be called something elect, president-elect, governor-elect, until you get your certificate of return, right? And then when you get your certificate of return, you are described as something, let's say, president-elect, okay? Now, when you're declared president-elect, that period is one of the reasons why, before the handover period, right, you have at least 3 months before a handover period of one government to another to usually takes place. Because if there's court issues to happen, left, right, and center, there's room to argue it out, right? But during the period in which you are staying as such in that position, you're still the person that will be used, the title elect will be used on. Okay? Now, here's what, meaning constitutionally, you are recognized as somebody elect. Now, it is not the fact that, let's say, for example, the president, Muhammadu Buhari, was not in APC, or let's say Jonathan was in PDP, right? And the incoming government was President Muhammadu Buhari of the APC. No matter how Jonathan felt about the party, the opposing party at the time, the Constitution recognizes the role that the person which INEC declared as elect, up to that point, is from another party. So people may go to court and do all kinds of things in the process. What I also strongly think needs to be done is, while you are in that period of waiting to the handover, is the period in which you can contest any form of results. It is not, the pressure is not on the president who is leaving. The pressure is on the judiciary who takes over the case from the point where you filed the case. You did not file the case before the president. Do you understand? No matter how much we complain or Nigerians feel disputed about the results, Muhammadu Buhari cannot at any point in time touch anything with regards to whosoever is elect. Even if the person who was elected is from Zango party and he doesn't even like the person. His role is, as the president, your tenure has finished, or you hand over to the next person. Whosoever that next person is based on the judiciary. So it will be misplaced priority. And this is where I would agree with you that to fault that statement. To fault Muhammadu Buhari when Muhammadu Buhari constitutionally cannot even do anything except the judges or the Supreme Court and all the processes do otherwise.
At this case, sorry for I've taken enough time. I'm not even faulting the president at this moment. Or P2B is not even faulting maybe the president.
Is that a statement we're talking about?
The INEC is inclusive in the suit. That he's not challenging the results. Nothing concerns P2B with the results. He's even challenging the process of that decision, the process of which this person is being declared. INEC even according to him, INEC faulted their own rules that before declaring. So to me, to solve all these things, that is why the British people or the FA, you know about football, come up with something they call VAR.
Yeah.
Now, you've scored this goal. All of us know that you scored this goal. Hey, you've celebrated. But somebody is pointing out to the referee. Something is wrong here. The referee has to hold on. The referee here has to be the judiciary. Hold on, let's go to this screen and check whether this goal you are celebrating is actually a goal before you will add it to the scoreboard.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
That is how it's supposed to be. That is where I'm looking at. They should make things to avoid all these arguments. You understand? They should draft a constitution that will make this thing happen this way. But
you're absolutely right. But I think the mistake we make as Nigerians is this. Just because somebody is called elect is not the same thing as the person is now the president. No, we celebrate, just like you talked about the goals. The goal is scored, everybody on the field is celebrating, somebody shouts VAR. The VAR is judiciary at this point in time. Until that scoreboard flips, until May 29 crosses over, that is when you know that officially things are going on. But in Nigeria, it's also, the question is our confidence around our judicial process is another thing we should now start to talk about.
That is the problem we are having.
So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. It's just that we celebrate the goal so loudly that people often forget that judiciary in some cases has a role to play. I agree with you. So VAR is the judiciary. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother. I'm so grateful to you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Interesting point he makes about this. Let's see. I can see people writing in chat. Many messages here and there. Let me make an attempt to take this win message here. Okay, Emeka says, Emeka from NPC Towers. Good morning, Femi. Beyond that, your engineering, religious, and Muslim tickets of APC are not engineering war in Nigeria. Okay. Femi, do you see the kind of people you're dealing with in Nigeria? Why always Obi is always all the lips of Nigerian politicians? They should let Obi be, because we are watching with keen interest. Okay, interesting. Good morning, Femi. Mazi Femi. Supreme Court justices are like knights. Their faces cannot be seen by the general public while dispensing judgment. Remember the logo of the judiciary. The NBA chairman of all people should know that. Peter from Gwarimpa. No, it doesn't put them in a position of balance just because, see, judges are not designed to feel sentiments. They are not supposed to, at least in many cases. But you want to, one of the things I would love, and maybe not the judgment at the end of the day, but let's see the process. You could decide to black screen off on the judgment day that, okay, we are now judging the situation and this is what we don't want cameras in. But at least for a moment, let's listen to the arguments being brought by the lawyers. See, I have seen people with good cases lose cases because their lawyers were inadequate and ill-prepared. It happens in many ways, more than one, okay? People with good cases, with many other ideas that do not hold consistently with how they want their case to be argued. And it also tells by the way you frame your cases, okay? Where am I? Having heard all from Dell's call this morning, I shed tears for this nation. These guys are really playing with our lives. That's according to who now? Oh, I missed out on your name. Femi D, good morning. Democracy, a government for the people, by the people. Not sure what we are practicing because civic duties are seen as a threat, and we can't hold our government accountable when they go wrong. In fact, they are above the law. Yusuf Dati was just saying the obvious we all know. Derek Ode. How does he say it? That's another ball game in news, right? Last call for the day. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Femi D.
Yes, good morning. How are you today?
I was on it.
Good.
My name is Iman Aruna, calling from Kubwa.
Okay. All right, welcome.
Mr. Femi D.
Yes.
I hear Vice President of the Labour Party, Dr. Baba Ahmed.
Vice Presidential candidate, to be precise, please.
Sorry?
Vice Presidential candidate, not Vice President.
No, I say Vice Presidential candidate of the Labour Party.
Okay, great.
Mr. Femi D.
Yes, please.
I agree with you. People I blame to people for this game. I blame outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari and the INEC chairman. Because if Buhari and the INEC chairman, as they promised Nigerians and as he said to us, Mahmoud Yakubu tell Nigerians and outgoing President, say you must do free and fair election.
Okay.
And if you vote for it, the transmission from the polling to the...
I've really got to go to take a... Wait, let me see if I can bring you back after the advert. Stay with us right here now, Jerry. I'll be back.
This is Nigeria Info.